My name is Ben Morris, aka BJ if you're family. Before I begin, everything I'm about to say is in regards to something that happened to me 9 years ago that I wrote a book about almost 4 years ago. The book in question is called Lands of Souls, Trigger to Believer. This is actually part 2 of 3 videos I plan to do in regards to the book and what happened to me. Sales are doing really good right now. So if you're interested on more on this, you could find my Facebook page of Lands of Souls, Trigger to Believer, and it'll give you more insights. It's not up right now, but by the time I have this video out, it will be up. But if you want to get more, if you look for part 1 of my videos. On part 1, I give a brief summary and a breakdown of the book itself. And then these next 2 videos are going to be on my theories that I got from what happened to me 9 years ago. This one is going to be on the Blackness. I talk about the Blackness in the first parts of my story, first chapters of it, and this is basically what I got from it and what I do in regards to it. So let's get to it. The Blackness started happening when I was near death, fighting for my life, and at one point, with bad nutrition, with the drugs and the lifestyle I was living, and my asthma, I started having. In 1 year, I had 7 asthma attacks in a single year. During one of those asthma attacks, when I was still living, you only live once, and I thought I was so hard or whatever. I was like, instead of calling the ambulance, I waited. I was like, you know what? Mind over matter, right? Let me just tough it out. Let me just try to breathe it through, and and if I die, I die. If it's my time, it's my time. Life sucks anyways. So I went ahead and I just closed my eyes and started trying to breathe regular, trying to regulate my breathing and try to control my heartbeat and stuff. And as I was doing that, all of a sudden I felt this pull, almost like a jagged, rusty hook was pulling out my soul. And it was like a violent pull. It was like and I actually felt like a pull literally as well. And when it happened, I was like, oh my gosh, what was that? I thought it was nothing at first. I closed my eyes again, and every time it pulled, it was like a blackness on top of the darkness. When you close your eyes, it was a blackness as well, pulling. And the second time was very, very violent. And so I was like, oh my gosh, and I snapped out of it real quick, called 911, started crying, and started, yelling, screaming with sorrow for my life. And then during my last asthma attack that sent me to the hospital, that left me sedated for a couple of days with a tube down my throat to breathe for me. At that time, the blackness was so bad. Every time I closed my eyes, it was tugging at my soul violently. So when I was waiting for the ambulance at that time, I literally had to keep my eyes open. And so, what do I think about the blackness? I think, well, I was in a negate state of mind, doing bad things, and I was in my health was negate, doing drugs, and I was living a negate lifestyle, selling drugs and partying and whatnot. So I feel my soul was in a blackened state, like this world tries to do to us for whatever reasons, and from there it was going to the blackness. It was going to a dark afterlife or dark realm or dark dimension, however you want to look at it. That scared me more than anything else. What do I do to combat against the blackness? Because I haven't seen it since. But what I do is I have a spiritual practice. My spiritual practice is Christianity, and I use my spiritual practice to gather positive spiritual energy. And I don't consider myself a religious person. However, I do consider myself spiritual, and my spiritual practice is Christianity, and I do practice my spiritual practice religiously. So take that as you will. When it comes to gathering positive spiritual energy, you would think, just think happy thoughts. With happiness comes, happiness. But that's not true, because drugs made me happy. So it's not about do what you do to make you happy. That's not it. Happiness is a fleeting moment. So what you have to do, what gives you joy, and joy is invigorating feeling, a powerful feeling, and it's a multiplying feeling. Like, it's almost like a natural high that we give ourselves if we know how to tap, if we know how to, if we know what makes us joyous. Um, the best way to understand like how I gather spiritual energy through my church or through my spiritual practice is and before I even go further right there, I believe in spirituality more than anything else. For me, I think Christianity is the one, but that's for me, to each their own. As long as you are doing something, as long as you have a spiritual practice and you're feeling good inside and it gives you joy, then do that. But all I could do is go off of what I know. And so if I go back even before the 2011, when I was it was so bad I was almost dying. We could go even a year before that, and you know it was Sunday morning, so I was partying all Saturday. Probably didn't sleep yet. I was probably I was probably still on one coming down and whatnot, but wanted to go to church with my mom, so I would go to church tired, not even sure why I was there. And while I'd be in church, all of a sudden the choir would start to sing. And then as they sing, all of a sudden the people get up around you and they start singing too. And all of a sudden you get this feeling inside. And it's like, it was an interesting feeling. It kind of like starts to bubble up inside of you. You don't know, and then you don't understand what that feeling is. And that is a joyous feeling. That's the feeling of the people around you in harmony, paying tribute to the higher power, and it was their joys, their feelings of true happiness overwhelming my downside, my down thoughts, my negate persona at the time. And now, and with everybody so positive, so motivated on a single concept, it basically overpowered the negateness that I had in myself that I brought to the place. So I was taken by their joys. And with that, it was like I wasn't even, it happened more than once. And each time it did, it was like, it felt like I just took like coffee with extra 3 shots in it, concentrated coffee. But I didn't, and then afterwards it was like, wow, I'm wide awake. I don't know what I feel, but I like it. And from there's the service, right? And right from back then, I was like, oh man, now it's time for the service. But that was well over 9 years ago. So now it's like you go in, you feel that, you get that from the choir, you feel that joyous feeling inside of you, and from there you go to the service, and the service tells you how to retain that joy until until it's time to go to church again in a week. But then again, it takes the way the world works is it comes at you right away, almost right as soon as you leave church. And the world is set up to make you feel negate, make you that's almost like gearing you towards going towards the blackness. And so that's what I do. And now I go to church. I go to church weekly, and me and my daughter are part of the choir. So I'm like right where it's right where I get it the most, like the eye of the storm, if you will. But if I go deeper with you guys, as I was dying in that state, I felt the blackness taking me. Then I didn't die, and during recovery, I started going to these different realms and coming back. And one time I was stuck in a realm. This realm in particular, if you've already read my book, or if you're going to, this chapter was the Renaissance Carnival, when I was actually trapped in it. And this is what drove me to doing what I do now, as far as gathering the positive spiritual energy, because we're gonna die. I'm gonna die. We all have death dates. We still know the day. And so everything I experienced when I was near death and traveling to these different places is going to happen again. However, how's it going to happen? Once I die, am I going to be able to do what I did this time, which was go to a different dimension or a different realm, come back and go again? Am I going to be able to just go to these, at will, go to these different realms or dimensions, or however you want to look at it? Or is it going to be where I'm going to be trapped in one? Like I was already, like I was almost trapped in the Renaissance Carnival. And I don't know, but I know that with negative energy, when I was in a negative state dying, I was going to a negative place. Once I cleared my thinking and the drugs were out of my system and I was cleansed, all of a sudden I was going to these other places, these beautiful places, and some not so much. But anyways, what I'm getting at is I will continue to gather positive spiritual energy, and I will not stop until I'm dead. And hopefully, with this, my passing will be in a tranquil state with my energies gathered, and I might be able to have, maybe this energy will give me the abilities to still be able to go to different places. I don't think so, but what I hope is the one place I go, and if I'm stuck there, it's a place that I don't mind being stuck. Yeah, that's my take on the blackness, what it does, when it does it, and gathering positive spiritual energy. You have to find it through joy. Find out what gives you joy and how to incorporate and invigorate it. So that's it on this. My next one is part 3, which is it's way more interesting. I'm ready for it. It's going to be interesting, but it's going to be playing with the dimensions and the universal lie that binds us to this world. And the concepts on it are theoretical, based off of what I went through and my looking, investing, and researching what I went through as well. So that's going to be interesting. It should be fun. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you guys later.